What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you a quick video on how to sand a blend panel properly. And basically a blend panel is a panel you want to sand when you're going to add new paint to one panel that's going to still have the same old paint on there. It creates like an optical illusion, so that way if the paint's a little off, we do our best where I'm at to make sure that's not like that, but just in case the paint's like a different tone, it's going to allow, so when the painter puts the new paint on, it's going to blend in with the old paint and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It's the proper way to do a spot. Like if you have a dent you're doing and you're not going to paint the whole vehicle, the blend panel, that's what that's for pretty much. I mean, there's other applications that you would do that for, but that's like the basics. So to do a blend panel, you normally are sanding some of it with 400. There's normally going to be body work on that panel, which we have down here. So the body work needs to be blocked. I got the block right here. I mean, if it's like a work truck you're not too worried about, you can use a hand sander to do the body work if you know what you're doing. Because the hand sander could really tear through, make it look very uneven and kind of make the body work wavy. So just to be safe, we're going to use a block over here. So with this particular blend panel, we're going to block this primer. It has guy coat on it already. That the guy coat is just to let you know when you have a flat, even surface, all it is black spray paint. There is guy coat that comes in a powder form. We use both here, but this one happens to be trim black spray paint. So with the blend panel, you want to sand where you're going to put the new paint, and then you're going to only use 1000 grit wet sandpaper to sand all of the rest of the panel, because the painter's just going to put clear coat there, so the old paint's still there and then the new paint, they're both going to be on the same panel. But you'll never be able to tell if you know what you're doing. I'll make another video here soon about how to actually spray the blend panel. I know I said that before, I just have to find time where my painter can show you. I've never painted that before, but my painter, he's an expert at doing that. So we'll get him to explain how to do that one day and maybe even have him show you what that looks like. But so for the blend panel, you want to make sure that the body work is straight, smooth, and then you want to make sure that you 1000 the rest of the panel where the clear coat's going to go. But a big part of that is when you get these body lines on the spot you're only going to put clear coat, you have to make sure that you don't burn through there, because what a painter hates more than anything, and it really complicates the process, if you burn through a body line at the top of the panel where he's going to put clear coat, now he's having to add the new paint there too, and it just makes it way more difficult. So you want to make sure when you're sanding anything to blend it that you don't burn through the clear coat of the original clear coat, and that you don't burn all the way through to what's underneath. May it be sealer, primer, the factory puts on an e-coat, basically it's edge primer. You don't want to burn through the clear coat or that top layer of paint when you're sanding for the clear coat part, the blend part. So my trick I do, because 1000 sandpaper is not too gritty, but on a body line it still can burn through very easily. But my trick, you get a gray Scotch-Brite. We get ours from Norton. It emulates like 1000 grit, and you normally use those wet, but for the edges on this and the body lines, I'm going to not get it wet at all. I'm going to use the gray Scotch-Brite and leave it dry, because that way you can see what you're doing, and then you'll be able to tell when it's doling out and you don't have to keep going over it. And because sometimes when you're doing it with 1000 and you have the panel all wet, when you're trying to see if you got that body line doled out or the edge doled out, you can't really tell because the water's kind of throwing the vision off of what you're really looking at. So I'm just going to give you an example on the best way to do the body lines and the edges of a blend panel. So just to ensure that you don't mess that up and burn through the paint, and now the painter's having to put the new paint on spots he really shouldn't have to do it. So Bam, right here we got a brand new dry gray Scotch-Brite. It comes with two, you just rip it in half. So on this panel, since he's going to be putting the new paint down here, and the panel actually has a line right here that separates it from the next panel, pretty much the quarter panel, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to sand this whole quarter panel. Molding covers this, but I'm still going to do my best. You can't really see it back there, but I'm going to sand that whole back piece with the gray dry so I don't burn through, because these little holes right here where the moldings snap into, you can use a dry gray Scotch-Brite, and sometimes one swipe, two swipe, you're already through that paint. So you just want to clean it really well before you even start scuffing it, and then just gently go around all that, because the painter, he's going to love you and appreciate it, because it just makes the canvas for him so much more easier to work with. But I'm not going to show you that part, because actually doing this whole job is going to take long, and I don't want to string you along on this whole video, but I just want to explain the basics behind how that process works. But I will show you how we're going to dull out the edges and the body lines so you don't burn through. It's literally like 1, 2, 3 good little pressure on them. Just make sure you have something to clean it off. I'll use the second Scotch-Brite to kind of wipe it off so you can make sure when it's dull, then you can move on. But basically, you just really want to pay attention what you're doing on each body line, because the body lines are such a sharp angle. That's what makes it easy to burn through. You don't need much pressure or much grit at all to burn through it. But this, 9 times out of 10, if you just watch what you're doing, you're not going to mess that up. It's going to make it so much smoother. You'll do your edges and your body line with this, and then you can do all the flat spots with the wet sandpaper and get it real dulled out. But so I'm gonna go ahead and do this whole line, this body line, and just show you how fast and how efficient. It'll make the job so much easier for you. That one's done. Then I'm gonna do the edge of this panel. Because if you do this with 1,000 or 1,200, even any kind of actual sandpaper, the pressure is gonna burn through that almost 100% every time, the edge and the body line. You only want to use the gray dry on the edges. You don't want to really use them on the flat parts of the panel, because that will make a lot more work for yourself. The whole idea behind it is you want to get every job done as fast and as efficient as you can with minimal things to throw you off. We're not going to cut any curves or anything, but this is just a faster way to do it, because most of the people doing these jobs, it's either a side job or you're learning for an actual company. And in the body shop business, most of the time, you don't get paid for your work till after it's done. So, I mean, at least at my shop, we try to get everything done good, fast, efficient. That way we can get our money also. But we still try to do a good job. We try to treat every job like we would a family member's car, you know? But knock this one out. Boom, done. I'm gonna have to blend this whole side panel, because there's no real separation anywhere. There is ways to flip tape and do that. It's kind of hack to me. So the way I do it, I do every body line or every separation line in a body where 2 panels come together. I do that end to end, top to top, bottom to bottom. That way the whole thing gets painted all at once and clear coated all at once, and it's no It's just not hack, no backyard shit over here. We try to keep it really professional. Also, if you're not comfortable with hitting these edges next to a panel that you're not going to sand on, you can always just put some tape. It really don't matter what tape, but I'm gonna show you. Next, I'll show you what it looks like to actually blend it. But I already did most of the edges. Then I'm just gonna block my body work. I'll do another video about how to block later. And then I'm gonna just sand all this white paint you see with 1000 till it's dull. And then that way we'll be able to put the new paint on the bottom properly. And then just put the clear coat around the rest, and you'll never even know the difference. Like I said, we do a good job at matching our paint. You wouldn't know anyway. But that's the proper way to do a blend panel. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be posting more how-to videos here in the short future.